Right.
Hello, everybody. Call this meeting of the New Shoreham Town Council to order. Today is Monday, January 5th. It is 7 p.m. And our first order of business is something, I think the entire council is really thrilled to be able to do. And both because we embrace you, Donovan, but also because we know it's a real life choice to come out here and we really honor that. So we like to do these things just to demonstrate how grateful we are for the service you're going to be providing to our community. We really appreciate it.
Do you, Jonathan Russo, solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of police officer according to the best of your abilities, and that you will support the charter granted to New Shoreham in 1672, the home rule charter of the town, the Constitution and laws of this state, and the Constitution of the United States?
Congratulations. Thank you, Donovan. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Get back on the road. Is there any public comment tonight? Nobody? Fantastic. We have a consent agenda with some minutes and other stuff. Who did someone get Fire 390? This.
Sure. So that was actually Donovan.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Donovan's. That's right.
And so that's why the lease wasn't included when we approved the other
Yes,
three.
yes, of course. Can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar? There a second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 4, discuss and act on board, commission, and committees. First one is to set membership numbers, terms, and appoint members to New Shoreham Local 250. Do I have it right, Millie, that we now have 7 who either volunteered or were pressed into service by Ms. Gasner? I was joking that maybe they weren't all volunteers, that you pressed some of them into service. So that's Shirlene Goburn, Christine Monge, Carmen Payne Castellanos, Susanna Gardner, Jane Conway, Candy Turner, and Janet Dionis.
Myself, so.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't say you. So we have 8. Yes. But we didn't, did we already appoint?
No, not today. Yes, 7.
So with Pam, it makes 8. How many more do you want?
5. 5.
How many do you want?
9. Vote, right? You want to on? Continue to advertise this.
Okay.
I mean.
Well, how about if we make it 8, and if we have any more volunteers, just come and tell us. And I don't think expanding it is
No.
going to be a matter in controversy.
Yeah.
So can I have a motion to make the nominations or the appointments, Shirlene, Christine, Carmen, Susanna, Jane, Candy, Janet, and Pam, please? Is there a second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion to set the number of members for the 250 committee at 8? Is there a second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And to a term that would last until the festivities conclude?
Yeah, I think this.
Okay.
December 31st.
Okay, December 30. Can I have a motion to set, second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Charlene. We have appointment of a member of the Board of Tax Assessors. We do. So we had two and then a late email third this afternoon.
The third was for the Board of Assessment Review.
Oh, it was assessment review. That's what I get for reading it too quickly, right? So we had two applicants here, and somewhat unusual in my experience, a sort of specific request from other assessors requesting the appointment of someone of Chris O'Neill, who has a lot of construction experience, which makes great sense to me. I honestly hadn't really thought about it and was really pleased that the assessor said, hey, here's the kind of expertise we need. My struggle is very similar to the one that we had a few weeks ago with Amanda, who is not the town employee part of it, but we need the Jackson Halls, the Amanda Boulez, that generation in these roles. So I actually am going to assuming that people think that having that construction expertise is really vital to that role. I really would like, if the council's okay with it, to call Jackson and just sort of talk to him about other things that are available, because I really don't want to turn him off to volunteering. That's
No, I agree with you, Keith. I think it's nice to see there be more than one name for a position.
Yeah.
I think Chris's expertise in the building field, I think, is a good fit. I make a motion that we appoint Chris to the Board of Assessor Review.
Is there a second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Molly? I'm going to run through these vacancies. Just in case. Okay.
If you could note that the canvassers, the Board of Canvassers, their appointments come up in March. So if we'll get them out now. We have 2 alternates and 1 full member,
And is everybody seeking reappointment?
as I understand it.
Okay, great. I was just going to say, I had a couple of meetings with a member of our community who was particularly upset about an issue. And it's an issue that was directly on point for one of these vacancies. And I suggested to this person that instead of, not instead of, but I was, happy to hear the concerns. But I said, we have all of these openings for bright people who want to be involved. Please put your name forward. And I just want to broaden that request to the community. I mean, jeepers, you hear things all the time about nearly every issue area that's covered by the vacancies here. Please, it's an open door. There's no, everybody wants you. I can remember many years ago now, sort of volunteering for zoning, and that's how you get involved in town, and that's how you give back to town. So anyway, we have an opening on the Board of Assessment Review. We have a longstanding opening on the Commission on Motor Vehicles for Hire. We have an opening on the Historic District Commission. We have an opening on the Tourism Council, an opening on Old Harbor Task Force, an opening on the Planning Board, Police Advisory Committee, Senior Advisory Committee, and the two, frankly, longstanding ones on sewer and water, as well as the canvassers, as Millie just said. So please look at them, call any of us, any of the five of us who serve on the council, call Millie, find out what they entail. They tend not to be a tremendous amount of time, but really important and valuable service to the community. Anyway.
So I'm probably reiterating the
Yeah.
same thing here, but I just want to say that there's been a lot of buzz about somebody who's taking out a gigantic ad in the paper to complain about the planning board. And I would just like to say that there is an opening on the planning board. I don't know if you're referring to the same person, but if that person is, who I don't know who that person is, it's very vague in the ad in the paper. But you know, rather than spending an extraordinary amount of money to complain behind some sort of vague curtain, get out here. There's an opening on that board. You clearly have an issue. You should be on it.
Yep.
So.
I agree. All right, can I have a motion to convene a public hearing on the,
Keith.
yes, oh, sorry, Bill.
Yeah, there was a, Millie, you said there was another interest came in for one of the committees.
Right. It was for the tax assessor, the Board of Tax Assessor Review. And that was from Bob
Rob Closter.
Closter. Yeah,
Okay.
Brad Closter.
Thank you.
Yes, just came in at like
Gotcha.
4:30 or so,
Yeah.
you know, something like that, right? Yeah. Can I have a motion to convene a public hearing? Second, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, the ayes have it. So this is on the thing I was referring to earlier, which is a change in the ordinance regarding enabling town employees to serve on the school board. You recall we had at least one applicant for that seat who is a town employee. The statute was kind of interesting, if I recall correctly, in that it didn't prohibit it as long as the town enabled it. I mean, essentially, that's the chain, right, Millie? So we're not permitted to consider that person's application because we had not passed an ordinance enabling it. And, you know, my sense is why miss out on bright people who want to get involved in the schools? Is there anybody who would like to speak on it? I guess the most important thing, Amy, is, are you okay? Do you think this makes sense?
I do, given our population and the fact that we think we always want to bring people forward who are willing to serve. I did have some initial concerns about areas where there could potentially be conflict of interest, but
Yes.
at the end of the day, and Nick will correct me, you know, everyone still needs to adhere to the code of ethics. And so
Right.
that would govern any conflicts that may arise.
Great. Any thoughts from the council on this one? Can I have a motion to approve this? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Can I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing, please? Second, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. All right, Millie, you're the date person. Item 5 is to hold a public hearing and discuss an act on this lighting ordinance. Is there a good date?
Yes.
So before, and
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
Bill, you
yeah.
want to go?
I was trying to figure out when it was appropriate to.
Yeah, I'd like to hold off with setting a date for a hearing, and I'd like to see if we can get some more information. This is a full rewrite, in my opinion, looking at changing it quite a bit. And I went back and I looked at the zoning meeting, and I'm not quite sure how we got to where we are. And I don't know if we can have either work session or we can have you know, with either someone to the commission. And then I just don't want to end up like we did with, you know, with this, with the.
I
stuff.
totally agree, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you raised it because I was trying to figure out when, when the best
Right.
moment to raise it because I, just started hearing concerns about this. I had not, spent any time with it. And I'd like for the five of us to be as educated as we can be before we bring it up. Can Karen come or?
Yeah,
whoever's
and
here?
I think Nancy was most
Yeah.
explicit in her
Yeah.
description of holding a workshop with the plan.
Yes.
Which would include Karen and Peter, to walk us through their
Great.
intentions and their thoughts.
Right.
And so I think we want to schedule that first, and then on that agenda, we could also set a date as a second item. So we can coordinate with the land use office to get some times that work for everybody.
Wonderful.
As a second question,
Yes.
if we're going to do that, they are also about to bring forward the ADU ordinance.
Okay.
Would it be too much to schedule both as an informational discussion or
I don't-
take that opportunity?
I
to
don't
talk
think it's
about
too
both?
much.
No, I
personally.
think I welcome
I think let's do it all.
Great.
Get it done.
So we'll talk
Um,
about lighting and ADUs prior
yes.
to public hearing.
Wonderful.
Great.
Would be helpful if Karen were prepared to talk about the reason that the ADU reg needs a change, because that's driven more by the state housing law that passed than a shall we say philosophical desire.
I think what they've brought forward, yes.
Yes.
Yes, and I think what they're bringing forward meets the state requirements and also tries to
Yes.
keep our philosophy. So I think
Right.
talking about those
Yes.
in terms of what's required,
Very
and
helpful.
what is more local, will be key to that conversation.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right, we're on to housing, boys. How are you, Mark? It's good to see you.
Hello, and thank you for having the Housing Board here for this update. My name is Mark McGuire. I'm the chair of the Block Island Housing Board. You may recall that we fashioned this project in two parts. The first part was infrastructure, to include everything up to the foundations, including the foundations. The second part was building construction, and that is everything from the foundations up. I'm going to address the second bit first. We have let an RFP out and have 4 responders, and we are in the process of evaluating those responses for the construction.
You have 4?
We have 4. I'm not going to provide any more information on that at this time because the board hopefully will decide in the next 1 to 3 weeks what to award on that.
And are you awarding for 8 or 16?
We
How
are,
did you structure it?
so it's 8 buildings,
8 units.
8 buildings, 16 units.
16 units, okay.
So we are awarding for all 8 buildings, but we have let the bidders know, and the RFP went out this way. We withhold the ability to just do the first 4 buildings, and then after we sell those buildings, to do the next 4. And that's a matter of finances completely. You know,
So the first 4 are houses that will be sold.
the first 4 are houses that will be sold. If the board decides to do rentals, then those will be the next buildings. And it will be some combination. We are not certain whether from a long-term perspective that the board can afford to maintain those rentals. So that will be a financial decision as well. It's difficult to do rentals and have the long-term maintenance, I think, as everyone knows. Yeah. So that's it on the construction. On the infrastructure, we broke the project into 3 phases. So the first phase was the connection to town power, water, and sewer into the property. That was mostly completed in the spring of last year. There is one remaining bit that has to be completed, and it will be completed in the spring of this year, and that is, if you've noticed, there's a patch on the road. That will be repaved. The whole frontage in front of that property will be repaved. But we piggyback on other paving projects on the island. So that will happen when other projects get done. We anticipate it will be done before May. The second phase of the infrastructure is ongoing now.
Can I ask a question? On the power and the sewer that's coming in?
Yep.
That goes, obviously it comes across the street or whatever it might be.
Yes.
How far into the property does it go?
Only 20 feet. So then the next phase picks up, and that's what we're in now, phase two. Phase two includes the running of power, all the lines into the property, into the end of the property. So there's a road that will dead end at the end of the property, right at the East Searles Ball project. There'll be 2 manholes installed. There'll be a fire hydrant installed, and all of the laterals will be installed up to the edge of the road. So that is phase two. We expect phase two to be finished by the end of this month. And then we'll decide what we're going to do with the foundations. Well, phase three is connecting, pouring foundations, connecting those foundations to the laterals through all the power, sewer, and water. So phase three will probably start sometime this spring.
The roadway to phase two, is that asphalt or is that a gravel?
It will be asphalt when we finish, but that will be part of phase three. So right now it's just a dirt road. You probably noticed all the clearing that has happened recently, and that is because that road and the fire hydrant will go all the way to the edge of, within zoning regulations, it will go to the edge of East Searles Ball. So as I said, we hope to award the construction contract for the buildings soon, 1 to 3 weeks from now. We will negotiate the contract with whoever the winner is.
Are you happy with the responses?
Yeah, I was happy with some of them.
Yeah,
Yes. So there are some very good responses.
that's good.
Yes,
I mean,
there are some that,
don't have to,
right.
you know. but-
There are some that, we are considering all of them. The subcommittee that's evaluating the bidders has put together a presentation that we'll give to the housing board next week, making a
What day is that? Do you-
on the 13th. We'll make a recommendation, and then the housing board will consider it. We may decide on the 13th, or the housing board may have more questions and want to explore different things. I don't think it'll take a long time. The negotiation may take a bit longer because, the bids came in November. We've just had a hard time, not a hard time, with the holidays and all, we've had a hard time evaluating, and we just need to negotiate with the bidders. Once that's complete, we will consult both of our contractors, the infrastructure contractor and the winning bidder, about if we need to phase the buildings, we'll consult with them about the best way to do it. I know there was an article in the paper, talked about 1 through 4 and blah, 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 but the board hasn't labeled these properties. We're just going to go with the first 4 in a manner that our infrastructure contractor and our builder recommends to us. I think it'll likely be the 4 that are closest to the West Side Road, but I don't know that yet. The board will decide. And that's it. I don't have anything else to update. Obviously, when we move on with the construction contractor, we're happy to provide another update.
I just want to say, I know how much work and time and worry and et cetera, that
Yeah.
a project like this takes. And I know what you've put into it and other members of the board have put into it. And I just want to tell you, it's important and we really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions?
Amy, are you in the loop for all of these
Yes.
steps?
You know, without overstepping,
Mhm.
yes. And Mark and the team has done a really good job of making sure that we're both informed and also raising questions when they come up so that we're working towards the same direction. So,
And I say that respect all that you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
No, I understand. Yeah.
It's kind of our eyes and ears on the ground level.
Yeah, absolutely. So Amy and I talk regularly. And I should add that, so up to now, on the infrastructure work, the board has been using its own funds in this next phase of work, and we've coordinated with Amy. We will begin to tap into the bond authority. And so we have talked about making sure those monies are in place so that we can proceed with that phase.
So who oversees each one of these steps of these projects? Is there a project coordinator that pulls in? I know there's a lot of
Yeah.
volunteers and have a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. So at our last meeting, I made pretty clear that the amount of incoming info to the board was kind of overwhelming from both a scheduling point of view and a invoicing point of view and whatnot. So on Tuesday, the 13th, we will probably take a vote to hire someone, an experienced person on island to help us oversee the project on an hourly rate. So that will be bringing a professional to understand what we're doing. Yeah.
For what it's worth, that really was essential on the medical center project. Because you had a similar kind of thing. You had medical professionals who were really bright and capable, but not construction people. And you had a board that was capable and well-meaning people who didn't know anything about the day-to-day of doing construction, you know.
I think it helps with
Really
accountability.
important.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great, we have a great board with a lot of expertise, but I don't think any one of us has the ability to oversee this, or maybe there's one person has the expertise to oversee it, but doesn't have the time. So
Right.
we thought it was essential to bring someone on.
Good for you guys.
Any other questions?
I don't have any, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, who's kicking off the item?
Actually, I did have one. All right. From a finance standpoint of view, are there any major hiccups? Are you on your path that you can?
We are on the path that we expected.
Okay.
Well, we always hoped for additional monies
Sure.
from some benefactor, but no, we're on the path that we expected to be on. Yes. Yeah.
Great.
There have been a few cost overruns. I mean, the town engineer asked us to do some things with the sewer and water and connections. So that caused a little bit of overrun, but not a great deal.
Nothing that's putting you off the rail.
Not at all. No. Thanks.
Terrific. Amy, do you want to start on this?
I will start to say, Chief Hobie is here as well.
Yeah.
They'll raise this as a topic, and having not been able to find a solution, I think we're willing to cast a wider net and brainstorm as a group for anyone who might be able to come up with an idea in terms of storage locations for the fire pump, which since day one has been a known challenge. And as it gets closer to delivery date, still doesn't have a solution. I don't know if you want to add anything, Chris?
Thank you, sir. The upper lot is available for us to store it there, but I think we need to have maybe a further conversation with the board or him about temporary structure up there as we have up at the station. Maybe there's other areas at the power company that we haven't thought of or they haven't. I think it would be good if council could meet with them, the board or something, have a conversation with them on that. The closer to the station, in my opinion, better as they're doing truck checks on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a walk across the street and tend to that pump in the pickup truck and the hose trailer. So you have three pieces that need to get inside. And then the other site, I was kind of just driving around sewer company. I talked to Dylan. He was very receptive to, if there is room there, he is, more than willing to look into it and work with the town. And that could be a spot. It's a little more secure area. But that's something that the town would have to look into and see if that would work there.
Chris, was that an area that you walked through or just?
I walked through with him. So when you come down the hill, pulling in on the right-hand side, there's a lot of brush, and I don't know how far back the property line goes. That would be, I guess, to the south. He says there's quite a bit of property in there. And then if you were driving out on the right-hand side, there is a home that abuts the property right on Spring Street and the sewer plant property. But there's quite a bit, I think it's where the belt press is in that building to that property line, to that White House. There's a good piece of property right in there also. There's, from what I understand, nothing underground there. There's a tank right next to the building, but anything past that, he said there's nothing buried there that would be concerning as far as putting a temporary structure there also. Thought if that area worked out, and then the time that we get into the new station, that may just be some extra room for them with that building being left there, if that's something that could be worked out also. So those are two areas I kind of scoped out. I don't know what else is out there, but that's where we're at.
What's the cost ballpark of the, I mean, obviously the, I don't want to call it tent, building, whatever. Up at the-
Temporary structure at the station.
Exactly.
The cost is under 100. I think we're into that roughly between 80 and 90,000.
Right. And that's,
That's the tent. That was a company coming out, putting it up in the cement pad. And,
and the building that to house this would have to be this less height, I would imagine, correct?
I think the height could be lower, but I think it needs to be a bit wider. And so that's 40 by 20. So I think we need to go at least 50 by 30, because you want to get two pieces next to each other inside. Because you're going to have the trailer pump itself, probably not be connected all the time. And you're going to have a tow vehicle. And you're going to have the hose trailer. So you have three pieces there. Now,
So
at
the
time,
idea
if-
would be that the tow vehicle would be dedicated to that?
a multiple use vehicle when
Okay.
it can be used
Yeah.
for everyday stuff
Uh-huh.
also. At the time that we do start construction, the temporary structure at the station would be in the way, would have to come down. So I think we need to think a little bit forward. Ladder 2, we don't have to have the tow vehicle in there and possibly not have to have the trailer, the hose trailer in there, but you could have that trailer pump and ladder 2 in there next to each other. That's what I think we should look at. That otherwise, we're going to be looking for another spot for the temporary structure that we have now to house ladder 2.
Do you currently have a vehicle that can be used to tow that, or are you talking about purchasing another vehicle?
We have ordered another one. The town has. It was part of the whole package.
Okay.
Yep, that has been ordered.
Amy, at the airport, I know there was some talk about, remember the parking lot that the temporary, you come up and you go right to the left near the Sprigs. And I know, I think, did Jim do some engineering or something on that from the parking lot aspect, I think?
I can't speak to that, but in general, we have been unsuccessful in getting RIAC to engage in conversations about us using any of that property, either temporary basis or more long-term.
I do have a contact. I'm going to try to reach out to the assistant chief of RIAC, Justin. I can't remember his last name. He's been out here a couple of times. Got his number. I'll just call him and maybe he can get us into the right direction of somebody that might be willing to listen.
Was that like not getting a phone call back, or they said we're not interested in doing anything with it?
We've
Yeah.
knocked on a lot of doors
Yeah.
and none of them have opened. So Chris is going to try his door and we'll.
Are you okay with that if?
Oh, absolutely. We'll keep trying until somebody actively says no or actively says yes.
Right.
But so far we haven't been successful.
It wasn't too long ago that they offered a couple pieces up there for rent.
Yeah.
They're not interested in.
I think we should try to, this is where we can get our legislators involved because RIAC, it's a, quasi-public and, we might get some, at least some phone calls answered that way, whether it's certainly worth exploring. My main thing on this is the reason I brought it back up is this thing's gonna arrive real soon. And, we're talking, we have $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 worth of equipment. And I just can't see this thing sitting outside. I think it was Molly or someone said we wouldn't buy a new zero-turn tractor and not put it in a shed. Never mind a piece of equipment like this. My other thing is talking with Dylan, or if we talk with the power company, I think I'd like to do it in a way that, look, we're not trying to force this down anybody. If we're trying to just look for a solution, what can where can we, like I said, maybe try to get it somewhere. I guess the other question we have is what other pieces of property do we own? Or do we have? We have Faulkner. We have, I don't know if there's anything, I think the medical center property is pretty well boxed out up there.
Yep.
Well, it's really for Amy, what, can we do anything at the state lot?
Stay low.
The state property across from the depot, the garage, is there anything?
No, that's maxed out in terms of footprint. Yeah.
Because they were gonna build a salt shed back there, weren't they? Didn't they have plans for that, or was that a wish list item?
Salt shed is overstating, so they're supposed to replace what's there with and move this salt to an exterior storage, but it's not material in terms of size.
I also wouldn't want to muddy up any reason for them to,
Right,
oh, we can't go with our building or whatever we might have there.
we're trying to get them to execute on the replacement of the building.
That being said, I did look at that. And if you're passing the power company, it's on your right-hand side going towards town, the first driveway going in the back there. You have that, and then it was just a thought, and it could be way off. The fence line for the power companies are also, the fence line was moved and you incorporated maybe a joint piece together, right?
So
in there.
personally, I don't want to repurpose anything there until they start
Yeah.
making a commitment to rebuilding their building.
Yeah, you don't want to jam that up for sure.
I would also say when you actually look at the easements too of the deep water space on what we think of as the power company property, it pretty much abuts right there to the town garage. So
Gotcha.
it looks like power company property, but it's really subject to an easement with Deepwater National Bridge.
Gotcha.
That space right behind the town garage.
Never thought of that.
Yeah.
How about over across the street with Negus Park? Is there, and like I said, I'm just throwing stuff up, this isn't.
Yeah.
So in the new construction, I think we're kind of coming down that hill into Negus Park a little bit. So,
I mean, we may have a water issue also.
yeah, it's kind of,
When's the delivery date?
sometime in April, middle of April or point they're saying.
I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I sure looked out when we rushed into this project. I mean, we talked about this, we've been talking about it for 30 years. Granted, we had a major event. No one hurt, no one killed. This was a piece of equipment that we've always wanted. I was just hoping that it would be in a building.
Me too. Yeah.
It'd be downtown and someone just turned the switch on. So now we have something else. And we need to house it, otherwise it's gonna rot away and it's not gonna be available at a moment's notice. If it sits outside, right? How long do you give it?
20?
20? They stand behind that?
I don't know. I just know they use them out in the Midwest and are left out all over the place throughout the country. They're also in a lot of the oil fields and
Let's
chemical
talk a
plants,
little-
et cetera, sitting outside.
Let's find out how long it can sit outside and still be usable.
Any piece of equipment, obviously, it's better to be inside. So that being said, it is being built. It is on its way. So let's try to see if we can secure something.
My other question would be is, I don't know if it's within the scope, or anything the land trust, or anything they have, it's something they might be able to,
I can have a
Yeah.
conversation with them.
Yeah. I know they're pretty, but
It gets tricky once you start putting a structure
sure.
on vacant land. It changes the use in ways that are, but I can have that conversation, just make sure we've investigated all the options.
So once we exhaust all that, then we say, is there anyone that has any private land that would be willing to, on a basis, whether it be, I don't know, Springhouse have a spot up in the back. I mean, I don't know. But we don't know unless if we put it out there, you know.
Mhm.
Sprague property, Old Town Road, possibly. No, there's some areas I think that the town could reach out to some of these folks and try to feel it up.
I mean, and the goal is that if we do a new station, that this is, that, and we all know.
It's
temporary-
included in the inventory that
Exactly.
we've already housed in the proposal. Yeah.
Right, and I think that's important that people know that. I think they'll be a little more open to the concept, knowing that, you know, even though our temporary tends to always be a few years longer than what we hope, but there is a plan for it to be put somewhere, you know.
In a perfect world, if the complex moves forward, we're inside within 5 years, the unit sits outside for 5. Not a horrible thing. I mean, there's
Right.
excavators, equipment, everything that sits outside. I think, we made the right choice. To have something in place if we need it, regardless if we have a place to put it inside or not. You know?
In my question isn't that it's a mistake order if we don't have it. My thing is, I have a 1956 truck that's been in a garage forever.
Mhm.
And the reason there's no rust on it, because it's in the garage.
Absolutely.
So, it's just a matter of trying to protect the town's assets from that end of it, so.
Underground moisture up is the
Yeah,
worst thing
exactly. Yep.
for anything.
And I think, so relatively, that $90,000 is roughly on a temporary, if it was a, whatever you word it, is it probably the range that we're looking at, whether, regardless of where the money comes from, but would be able to do something to be able to house it.
Well, the last one was about 90,000, right?
I think we're
But we're
just
just-
touching 90, just touching 90. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask Mike. It's
Is it-
between 80 and 90.
And this one would need to be twice the size of that one.
No, so the one that we have is 40 by 20. So we're talking like 50 by 30. So there's a few more square feet in there, and that will add to the cost for sure. So,
I guess we gotta get on our land, our assets that we control, that we may be able to erect a temporary.
It didn't occur to me before, but I will reach out to Jim Jeremia as well. We've always talked about how tight the footprint is at the transfer station. But if you think back to the DEM report that they issued in December, they were open to laying some concrete pad where the storage containers are in sort of the lower half of the lot. This is technically a temporary concrete pad. And so we may be able to at least ask the question about whether
Mhm.
this can be accommodated there.
Yeah.
We always felt like we were overreaching by storing those there to begin with, but since they opened the door,
Right.
we may be able to leverage that.
Like I said,
Thank them graciously for opening it.
Yeah.
Why, thank you.
We would love to put a concrete pad there.
So Amy, will you reach out to either Jeff or Barbara and see if about the
Yes.
power company?
So we'll talk to the power company, we'll follow up the land trust,
Yeah.
sewer, RIAC, we're gonna
Mhm.
move to your court. And we'll pull the deed for Negus Park as well, just to see if that is a prohibited use.
Sure.
The fire department did some engineering on the power company land already, correct?
we did a few years back when it seemed like that lot was going to be available to us at that time, and then I think Kirk, when he was chief back there, started laying a building out on that top corner, and then somewhere along the line it became unavailable to sell to us or for us to put a building on.
And I know they have some plans, they may want to do some housing and so forth. So I really want to make it known to whether it be the power company board or whether it be Jeff that, you know, we're not trying to force anything down. You know, we're just trying to come up with a solution, and if they can if they can think outside the box also, it'd be greatly appreciated. And that's why I think it's best if Amy probably makes the approach from that end of it. We're not telling them or the sewer company what to do with their property. We're asking if there's any way you can help us out with this and be open-minded. That's the direction we're trying to go.
The power company I was driving through there the other day, you have the back way in, off of, Beach Ave, where they used to keep the poles there. So maybe that's a spot down there possibly. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they have a lot of plans for that property, so.
And then the property that Mr. McGuire was just talking about, I don't know if there's anything. Could go, Jamie.
Yeah, I sort of thought about it as we were talking. You know, again, I'm concerned about the use that has been through planning in terms of what they're allowed to do there.
Yeah.
This would require additional permitting, and I wouldn't want to undermine
Sure.
a project under construction.
That's an important part of this is we got to get the structure permitted.
Yes.
So April.
Mhm. Yeah, right, it's gonna
Sure,
take a little bit.
you know what I mean?
Take a couple months. If you said go today,
Yeah.
it might, on the, I don't know, month, 6 weeks, get that up, get the people out here, get them scheduled, come out, deliver it.
Right.
People come out, put it up, get
Sure.
the cement poured, et cetera, so.
Yeah.
Financially, it doesn't looks like the town, what the town would propose for the Outlook property keeps going further and further downstream because
For the what property, David? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Overlook, I'm sorry,
Uh-huh.
the Overlook property is getting pushed out year after year in my mind, just because we can't afford everything right now. So that piece of property could in fact be, in the world of trade-offs, you could be building something on that property for a temporary 5 years, potentially. And with that, it's not the intended use, obviously, but we have to help ourselves out of this emergency, essentially.
We'll push that over to you also.
Anything else?
No, I appreciate everyone giving this some thought, and I think if anyone in the room here, obviously, or anyone from the public still listening has any ideas or suggestions thinking outside the box, I ask you to please reach out to Amy, one of us, but or ideally to Amy, and so we can explore all those possibilities.
Terrific. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys.
Any future items? No. Have a motion to adjourn? Second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it.